Now listen, I don't really do reactions like this. I don't really do reactions to the Manosphere talking about the Manosphere, but I seen this and it was a very intriguing live. I recommend you go and find it, watch the whole thing. He really broke it down to a T. Now, I must say this joint is long and he touched on a lot of different points along the way. And there are plenty of different points that I can react to. There's actually another point I really want to react to, so I may do another video with this, but we're going to get into it and I'm going to touch on some of the things that he said and just give my thoughts because number one, it intrigues me. Number two, I heard him say nobody is going to react to this. Also, I've been watching this type of shit. Like, if you listen to my channel, you know how long I've been into this type of shit. I just got into making videos, but some of the things he said were interesting, so we gonna get into it.
Okay, we could cheapen up the message. This is when we saw people dropping 5 videos a day. 5 videos a day. Now, before 2021, people would put 1 video out. 1. By 2023, it was commonplace. 5 clips, 2 8-hour live streams, 8 shorts. Niggas started to be like, oh shit, it's an arms race. So the lack of creativity was like, let's produce the easiest amount of content. How can I do that? We just gonna fucking take the algorithm. We just gonna pound the algorithm. And that gave the space more exposure. People's sub counts went through the roof. And then now people said, oh shit, okay, I got to just make car videos and react to videos. Like this did not help the space. And it eventually led to people getting more info than they normally would have had, more polarizing clips, more clip farming, more Manosphere exposed, more of those type of content. Nobody was exposing the Manosphere very much until this point. All right, where the creativity got low, nobody invested. Nobody supported any other content creators becoming the top dog. We're going to talk about that next because I'm trying to rush through this. So then you had people who was basically doing live streams, streaming reactions to content creators. All right. And it's like, whoa, god dang. Like, okay. And all we would see is the same thing. Kevin Samuel said, Myron kicked out this bitch. All right. And it was just a reaction to that. This was the anti-counterintelligent movement in the space. Then it was also the content creators themselves. Okay. Then it was that. So then it was the how to produce the most and easiest amount of content, reactions, and particularly car videos. But here's the problem. YouTube as a whole took off. Like there were YouTubers that came in around that time that built an entire platform. And because they didn't have counterintelligence and censorship, because they were focused on YouTube being a business, these people created whole businesses around their YouTube where the Manosphere didn't. Let me show you an example. This is Super Carblon, and there's a lot of people you can show. Kai Cenat, streamers, people built businesses around their YouTube, whereas the Manosphere, they basically prevented people from building business around their YouTube because we were so-called helping men. Showing you an example.
Now guys, this is where all the back end stuff happens. This is actually where the magic happens. Welcome to the office.
Where is the Manosphere version of this? Where's the Manosphere version of this? Where's the Manosphere version of we're going to build a business around this and we're going to have an office and we're going to have a studio and shit in there? Well, anybody who attempted to do this fell into the next category, which is the competition between content creators. Now, this space saw more diss videos from content creator to content creator before Abbott and Preach started dissing the Manosphere. I'm going to say it again. My man said a team for what? That's what I'm talking about. My man said, what do you need a team for? That is why the Manosphere destroyed itself. Because you guys are so motherfucking you guys are not self-aware. If you want to legitimize anything, you have to keep up with the competition. any content creator that tried to build a team, it was successfully torn apart from the content creators.
So listen, full stop. We're going to get to what he's talking about, and I'm going to respond to that in a moment. But I have to say this first. 9 times out of 10, I'm one of the content creators he's talking about. And that's cool, man. Everybody can have an opinion. I'm not even mad at it. Because if you look at what I do, I don't put my face on the screen. So that's the first thing. The second thing, being that I don't put my face on the screen, it's not a high production value. The third thing, I do reaction videos. Now, I do have videos that aren't attached to anybody else's content. And those videos are very informative, and I consider those to be for my core audience. Why? Because they don't get that much engagement. Which brings me to the 2 reasons that I'm here, and I'm gonna just lay this out. Number 1, because I know how to do YouTube, and I know how to make shit shake, and I know how to get money. So that's me being transparent with you. I'm not gonna sell you a course, none of that shit. I'm not trying to sell you a dream, sell you a course, none. But the pure reason why I'm here, the real intention, the reason that I thought I could give value to the space is because I feel like a lot, if you watch my content, I feel like a lot of the views that I have are either completely not represented or underrepresented. And the views that I have, I feel like are reality. And I feel like a lot of this shit people say, like a lot of the popular narratives, are bullshit. And I say that based on real life experience. And I give you 2 examples. You're going to see me all the time touch on the broke guy shit. And what is the broke guy shit? That you do not need a bag to get sex. You do not need a whole bunch of money to get women. I know this for a fact, and I illustrate it to you in a lot of my videos. And when I talk about that, I'm talking strictly about getting girls and getting sex, because the thing that you'll have a lot of people in this space who will tell you that you need money, you absolutely gotta have money, and ain't no bitches gonna want you if you don't have no money. And even outside of this, that is like a heavy black community belief. If you're in the black community, like niggas all throughout the hood believe that shit, but all of you motherfuckers is broke and got 8 kids and shit like that. So how you been getting pussy, bruh? And one of the other things is that these cats tell you that you absolutely have to go on dates and you gotta bruh. These chicks is going straight to the crib, or you going straight to their crib, and they getting it cracking. That chick that is trying to have you go on 51st dates like you Drew Barrymore, Adam Sandler, she's fucking somebody straight to the crib or straight to the hotel, straight in the car, whatever the case is, bruh. And that's just the real. So again, the reason that I made this channel, because I've been watching this stuff for a long time, is because I felt like I could provide a unique perspective that is based in reality. So that is why I am here, because I'm going to give you the shit that nobody else is giving you, because quite frankly, and I hate to say this, but some of these guys just have never been around no cool dudes. They not no cool dudes. And when you look at dudes like Fresh, he's out here tricking his fucking ass off and lying about doing it. So now that we got that out the way, and it's ironic that I did that because that's one of the things that you talk about in the video. And he probably even going to talk about it in these clips, like content creator beef and stuff like that. But whatever, man. I don't fuck with them, not because of no Manosphere shit, but because Myron is racist and he tags on with some of that shit. But as far as the guy saying, what do you need a team for? What Coach Greg got to understand is that these people saying this aren't content creators to any degree. They aren't. And even then, the thing about most people is they are not entrepreneurs and they are not dreamers. So with that being said, if you get outside of this space and you look at a company like Valuetainment, I watch business videos. I was watching Valuetainment when Patrick Bet David was just in front of a whiteboard. What did he do with that channel? Once he got the bread up from that channel and whatever other companies he had, he said, listen, I'm going to take this shit to the next level. I'm going to start doing interviews. I'm going to interview, the dude who made the McAfee antivirus stuff. It went all the way up to him interviewing Kobe. He gave Kobe his last interview, bro. That video is going to be watched forever. He's going to get revenue off of that shit every month for the rest of eternity. And what you have to look at, for him to be able to do that, he had to get a camera crew. He had to get basically producers and stuff like that. He had to rent out the venue. He had to have people doing the lighting and shit. Shit, he sold tickets to the Kobe interview. So there was a crowd there. And he actually put on a show with Kobe as far as the interview. And I'm sure it's not only profitable, but it's going to be profitable into the deep future. I'll give you another example. Jason Whitlock got fired or left Fox, however that worked out. And he wasn't going to ESPN. They don't like him over there. They don't like him nowhere. So what did he do? He made a YouTube and made his own platform. And guess what? It's fucking thriving. It's thriving. You know, it's funny. He's beefing with Cam Newton, and Cam Newton has his own platform on YouTube. Guess who also has their own platform on YouTube? Shannon Sharp. So these are all people outside the Manosphere. But let's go even further. Casanat. You look at him and you think nothing is going on. You know, it ain't nobody else helping with him, man. All them AMP dudes got assistants, man. Every single one of them got assistants. They got producers. They got all types of shit. I seen one of them talking about sending one of the dudes in during like the 30-day XYZ. And even then, they got security. They got all types of stuff going on, man. So when you understand that, we're talking about people who are making millions off of YouTube, right? And possibly other platforms combined. And if I'm being honest, what they're actually getting from the ads might not be millions of dollars, but you got to understand. When you are in positions like these people, what happens? People come with endorsements. People come with endorsements. Trust me when I say this, because I know YouTube. If you have your face on the camera, if you have good production and you are marketable, and you get a lot of views, people are going to come and try and give you their products. Your email is going to be getting blown up. I don't have no email on this account. I don't be putting up no email or nothing. I'm not looking for no sponsors on this channel. But those guys that I mentioned, they are getting absolute fucking bank, and they have teams, and the production is A1 and all of that shit. So when we look at the Manosphere, who are the top people? We just gonna say Fresh and Fit and whatever. Fresh and Fit and whatever absolutely have a fucking team. Who do you think is changing the camera angles and shit? The thing about Fresh and Fit, shit, they mic'd up the team so you could actually see the team members and shit. Because when it comes down to it, if you trying to get money with this shit, it is going to get to a point where you can't handle everything yourself if you're really trying to elevate what you're doing. And I'm going to give you one example. When it comes to somebody who is comfortable where they're at and doesn't want to scale up or anything like that. Alpha Male Strategies. He is in front of the camera, sitting down, all of that stuff. And I'm not shitting on him or knocking him or nothing. You do what you want. You do what is beneficial to you and your, fan base and stuff like that. So boom, he sit down in his room. He still give the same advice, all that stuff. Do you think he could sit down and interview anybody? Do you think anybody is reaching out to do an interview with him? Better yet, Fresh be networking on Fresh and Fit. Do you think the Alpha Male Strategies with the platform that he has now is big enough? But do you think he's going to have an easy time or a hard time convincing a celebrity to come and sit down in the room and clap their hands together and do a video with him in front of, the camera phone or whatever? I don't think that would work out. I think he would have to convince him, I got a studio and da-da-da-da-da. And even then, he wouldn't have any videos as reference to show them. So I'm not going to go deep on that. You get the point.
You cannot be serious making car videos and reaction videos. That's exactly why the Manosphere destroyed itself. You never wanted to be bigger and legitimate. You always wanted it to be illegitimate for your own personal reasons. Why? Because you're a loser, because you're unsuccessful. You cannot have this space continue for 10 or 15 years and you're doing reaction videos and car videos. You can't do it.
Now, this is the thing, man. He knows that's not true. And the reason he knows that's not true is because he knows the history of this shit. And he knows this shit has been underground more than it's or longer than it's been mainstream. So I mean shit. Over 20 years, bro. Yo, Mystery was on TV, and if you go and ask somebody who the fuck Mystery is, they not gonna know who Mystery is. They'll know who Kevin Samuels is because Kevin Samuels went mainstream. But they won't know who Mystery is, and Mystery was on fucking MTV. What he means to say is this space won't elevate. It won't elevate if people are doing videos like the video I'm doing right now, or car videos where you're just talking in the car. And it's not going to elevate. It's not going to elevate. And it's not going to get to a point where you remember I mentioned all those other people like Shannon Sharp. It's not going to get to that point. And hopefully I remember during one of these other takes to talk about that, because I don't think it's ever going to get to that point. I don't think it's meant to get to that point. And if you want me to be honest, not even fucking one of these content creators that are out now are equipped to take it to the place where Kevin could have possibly took it, or just even top tier mainstream. If you even if you don't want to fantasize about where he's going to take it, no Diddy, not one of these motherfuckers is equipped to take it to top tier mainstream. They're just not. Nobody's platform is really built for that. But other than me laying out how, this shit has been underground for 20 years and it's still been going, and it was going before YouTube was even a thing, and it's still going to keep going. Listen, I'm going to tell you why it's going to keep going regardless. Are you ready? You're not going to like the answer. You ready? Pain. There's always going to be a new guy, a new 20-year-old, a new 30-year-old, a new divorced guy at 52 or 40. It's always going to be somebody going through something. And they are going to seek out information that is going to lead them here. The community didn't go for as many years as it did before Kevin Samuels because, somebody was promoting it heavily and putting it on the screens and making sure people get here. No. People found this shit. And guess what? People are going to keep making this shit for 10, 15 years. And people are going to keep finding it. But the issue is, if it doesn't get made in 10 or 15 years, it's not going to be because of the people. It's going to be because of the radical censorship by these platforms.
You destroyed yourself. You destroyed yourself. All right. And listen, if you're critical of what I'm saying here, you better have a profile picture and some evidence behind it. Like I said, we're all guilty of this. So I made this videos on other people. I made this video on Rich Cooper in 2019. Nobody's saying that I didn't do any of these things. I said we're a part of the Manosphere. But guys, this is another reason you're seeing this. These men are going to prove me right as to why this space destroyed itself. Because these people are the reason why. In the comment section, they're going to prove exactly why this space destroyed itself. These small thinkers, oh, you did, and pointing the finger. You're going to show, I'm going to lay out the case why this space destroyed itself. Because you guys wanted it to always be car videos. You guys wanted to be always in the shadow. You guys always wanted to be, oh, we're just helping men for free. And listen, YouTube became a business. The Manosphere never took it that way. Any content creator that took it as a business, it was destroyed by the Manosphere. Let me give you an example. Pearl made it a business. Myron made it a business. They hired a whole team of people. You guys criticized them for that. You guys criticized Pearl for that, the 360 content deal. It wasn't Abba and Preach that did it. It wasn't Abba and Preach who did it. Now, you can blame Abba and Preach for attacking the so-called Manosphere. They really only attacked 4 people: Myron, Donovan, Darius, and Pearl. That's it. I guarantee you, and I'm going to make you guys type this in, and I want you to prove my point. All right? I want you to prove my point. This is going to prove my point. Type in any content creator within the Manosphere that had beef. Type it in. This is going to prove my point. You guys want to say YouTube and censorship and terms of services, and you guys are just trying to distract yourself from this truth. But I'm going to prove that there are people, and even to me, and then even include who they were beefing against. Before Abbott and Preach ever cut one video, and I'm going to prove you, it was the Manosphere people attacking other Manosphere people. In fact, Abbott and Preach reacted to one Manosphere person attacking another. They reacted to another Manosphere person cutting a piece of content that was very, very thorough. And that's what they used against the Manosphere. See, you can say whatever you want, but I'm ironing out this case. Nobody else is going to iron this case, and nobody has the fucking guts to approach this conversation. When you talk about who did the worst damage from the content creators, it is not the government sponsor. It is not the outside world. It is not the censorship. It literally was everybody versus everybody. Everybody else versus everybody. Then those pieces of content were used by the outside world to attack the Manosphere and the Red Pill. Tell me I ain't lying. Tell me I ain't lying. And hey, I ain't got no control over this. I'm just telling you the truth. You can go from one content creator to the next. And then this brings up the next point. Why don't we see the rise of the legitimacy of the message, where we got offices and people working for us and people being able to put out and dissect good content instead of niggas in they hat? This is what I see. Niggas in they hat in the fucking basement doing reaction videos. All right. And they in the corner down in the fucking box like this. Okay. Now I've got the reaction videos. I didn't say they in the corner in a box and they just sitting there in a goddamn musty t-shirt. All right. Reacting to videos. Instead of going, we gonna take it to the next motherfucking level. They just sit there and let the video run for 15 minutes.
I'm gonna stop it right here and get my shit off. The first thing I gotta say, I just gotta say it. I just don't get it. I don't get how he has this criticism about somebody sitting in their basement, XYZ, doing reaction videos and all of that. Like, I just don't get it when he is in that same room all the time. When you see him out of that room, he's doing a vlog, which is cool. It's a vlog, like a vlog of him moving around and stuff like that. Or it's him on one of those other bigger platforms. So I just don't get it. I'm not saying what he's doing is wrong. I'm not on the fucking screen. So of course I'm not going to say it's nothing wrong with what he is doing. I actually like his content. But I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. But we going to move on. Let's talk about the Manosphere studio and just coming together and all of this stuff. Now, there are some people, again, whatever podcast, Cooley and them at No Fugazi, Fresh and Fit. And then you could even just sprinkle Valuetainment money because they are Manosphere adjacent, even though it's like, you know, they just really are trying to capitalize off what's going on. He mentioned Pearl and shit like that. Listen, that is as good as it gets. That is as good as it gets, and I'm going to tell you why. He's already touched on the beef, but it's not even because of beef. But let me just get this out the way so we could just get to my main point. But let's just get this out the way. So what you got right here is a 7, right? You got the 7. You got Steve the Dean. You got Donovan Sharp when he was hot. This was his idea. You got Minister Jap. You got Solo TV. You got Lucario. But you also have these two people. You have Myron from Fresh and Fit. You have Kevin Samuels. All of these people, very influential in the Manosphere, in the Black Manosphere, on the screen at one time. On the screen at one time. Listen, I don't remember why it all stopped and why it's not a thing anymore. And I know Lucario has his thing where he got like a bunch of pickup artists and stuff like that. And I forget the white chocolate dude. No, did he? You know that what's the R&B singer? Fucking had a John B looking nigga on there. He whatever happened, he wasn't feeling it, so he left as well. But Myron and Kevin were having friction. So with that friction, Kevin didn't want to be on that shit no more. And that just fucked everything up. So that plays to Coach Greg's point about the beef. The beef within the space causes such division to where it's like we can't really get forward. But let's get past the beef and I'm going to tell you why this shit doesn't work out. Listen, I've done a lot and I've seen a lot. I know group dynamics. I know how people are who actually have clout and things of that nature. And when it comes to unity, the kumbaya, let's all come together shit, that shit never fucking works. When you try to get a bunch of people to just come together and you all are supposed to be equal and shit, like, it doesn't fucking work in most cases because they're egos. They're egos. And I'm going to dumb it down and just simplify it for you very quickly. We're going to look at AMP. We are going to look at AMP because he's been mentioning Casanat and these other people who have studios and stuff like that. We could even mention FaZe and stuff like that. How does AMP work? Now, before we get to that, some of you may be older and have no idea who any of these guys on the screen are. So the guy in the black t-shirt is Casanat. He's one of the biggest streamers in the world. One of the biggest streamers in the world, right? You have the guy in the back with the hat. He is Duke Dennis. He is a tremendous streamer as well. He's not, like top 5 or anything like that, but he's a big streamer. You got Phantom in the middle. He is a big personality. You got Agent in the red hoodie. He is a big personality as well. The two on the right, they are okay. They are okay. They got a little bit of motion. So this is what happened. Are you ready? Let me take you down. Let me take you down the path. All of these guys are streaming, right? They are streaming on 2K as individuals, meaning they are playing a basketball video game online. And they are streaming as individuals. They are growing. They are doing their own content. Phantom, the big dude with the green hat in the middle, he begins to befriend some of these guys. He begins to build genuine relationships with some of these guys. They are all on the come up, right? Individually. He is the individual with the vision. So let's start there. He is an individual with the vision. He's having the same, let's come together, kumbaya, let's everybody come together. He's having those same thoughts. But this is the thing. What he did was he made sure that he was a leader and that he was in charge. So that is number one. When it comes to this group that we're going to be in, make no mistake, it is my group. But the thing about it as well is the guy is very cool and he is not an insufferable dickhead. He doesn't have a big ego. And remember what I said about, the kumbaya shit, let's all come together. It fucks up because of egos. So he's fit to run the shit because his ego is in check. So that's the first thing. The second thing is he made sure he picked the right people, and he didn't pick too many people. He didn't pick 1,000 people. He picked 5. You see everybody in that picture? That's 5 people. And it's not about them all getting along and shit. It's about, yo, I fuck with you. So you should join the collective that I'm making. And this is the other thing. There was a point for some years, I'm not talking about 1 year, for some years, where they were all in separate places, separate states, just doing their own content. And they would link up, get together, and do content together every now and then as a collective. They would promote each other and etc. And they would come together and that was all good. just for like a weekend or however long. Sometimes some members would link up with others in different states, et cetera, et cetera. So they were still doing their own things, building their own platforms, getting their own motion, right? And remember, it's only a 6 people group. So it's not 12, it's not 19. It's a 6 people group. No, they're not looking for members. No, everybody can't get in. No, just because you cool with this guy, that don't mean he could get in. You can make content with him, but everybody can't get in. You understand that? Everybody can't get in because when you have a 50-person group, that makes more rooms for discrepancies. Because the thing about everybody that you see in this picture, all of them are fucking bosses. And the thing about Phantom is he is not bossing these motherfuckers around because his ego is in check. He is a good dude. So now they didn't put in all these years. What happens? Phantom says, yo, this is what we gonna do. We gonna go to Atlanta and we are going to rent a mansion. We are all making money. We're gonna rent a mansion, and what we are gonna do, all of us are still gonna do our own content, but we are gonna take this collective to the next level. There's nothing like us in this black streaming space, and we are gonna revolutionize this shit. And guess what? They did. They got under the same roof in a mansion in Atlanta. They were doing crazy. They would do their streaming and stuff like that, but they would do crazy stuff on stream, like have firework wars and stuff like that in the house, do pranks on each other, et cetera, et cetera. And they would do videos for each other's channels and stuff like that with all types of content of them interacting. And it's all fun content. It's getting millions and millions of views. Shit, they had some discrepancies and they had some like little quarrels and shit like that. But guess what? He picked the right fucking people. I mean, they had so much stuff that if any of them were really fragile like that, it could have really went left. If any of them were really violent like that, it could have really went to a place where nobody could have came back from that. But they all get over that shit. They all get through it. They all get over that shit because nobody's ego is too big. So he got the right set of people. And guess what? When you look up now, you got the NFL throwing little summer events with these dudes. They getting invited everywhere. They getting hella fucking money. Casanat is, again, one of the biggest. He got Nicki Minaj and all types of people coming through his crib and stuff like that. So these guys are all now multimillionaires. There is a video of a rat running, because Casanat is from New York, of a big ass rat running around the fucking computer in the room and stuff like that while Casanat is streaming, and the internet laughed at him. He was living in fucking poverty like 4 or 5 years ago. Multi fucking millionaire, really peaked out, really up there. So I just had to lay all of that out for you in case you didn't know who they were, but also why it worked. Now let's go back and look at this fucking picture. Now just think about this real quick. Donovan Sharp done beef with everybody. Kevin Samuels, he had his little quarrel with Myron, but he never really tried to say names or lash out at anybody too directly. Myron is a fucking crash out. You know what Myron got going on. Myron done beef with 1,000 motherfuckers. I just seen some shit today. Mike Rashid, having a beef with him over saying some shit about black women. And you know that he can't not respond. He's going to respond to that because that's what he does. He beefs and causes chaos. That's what Myron does. You look at Minister Jap, I fuck with Minister Jap content. He not taking no shit. You know he not taking no shit. Steve Dedini commented on my channel one time because I had Lucario as like one of the thumbnails and stuff like that. He didn't really say nothing, but he beefed with Alpha Male Strategies before, and he always talking disrespectful to one of his callers. I don't know nothing about Solo TV, but the coolest guy on the screen, the most or the least egotistical person that I see on the screen as far as people that I know and I'm aware of is Lucario. That's the least egotistical person. With that batch of people on the screen, I don't see some shit like that, what I just mentioned with AMP, working out. And that's not a diss to anybody on the screen. It's just that you could see that if it could have worked, these people would still be on the same screen together every weekend. But they're not. And the thing is, the people on the screen don't even matter. They honestly don't even matter. I think Coach Greg Adams, I think he is a cool guy. I think he would be somebody who could lead and not really be that egotistical or nothing like that. But when you look at the majority of the fucking Manosphere, do you think they got personalities built to be in a collective and have no issues or get over the issues after they happen? Absolutely the fuck not. Absolutely not. So as far as people coming together, it's a good idea, but the first thing you gotta have is a good leader. Just keeping it to being Donovan Sharp is not that. Like, and most people from the Manosphere are not gonna be good leaders either. They're not even gonna be good team members. And listen, I don't even want to single out the Manosphere. I don't even want to just single out the Manosphere. The reason I know this is because I've seen this happen in lanes that have nothing to do with YouTube. This happens in real life. If you do something like, what is that, TGT or whatever, that Tank, Genuine, Tyrese shit, you try to get 3 singers together that they all got motion and shit. They all got their own motion. Guess what they all got as well? They own fucking egos. So you got Genuine beefing with fucking Tank or whatever the fuck, or Tyrese, one of them. And it comes back to what I said. In that situation, Genuine is known to be a fucking drunk. Tyrese is known to be fucking emotional and wear his heart on his fucking sleeve. And Tank is just gay. No disrespect to the gays, but I just wanted to throw that out there because it's pretty factual if you see some of the stuff he got going on. But listen, it didn't work because too many egos. But now I want to get to the other point. He kept asking, where is the studio for this shit? You know, why aren't we elevating, all this shit. I said this on my Myron video, and he also said, like, y'all losers, y'all want to keep it underground and all that shit. All of that is cool, whatever. I said in my Myron video that this shit is not really built to be mainstream. It is not really built to be mainstream. And let me give you a list of reasons why. Let's just get the elephant out of the room. Like, we live in a society, I hate to even say the word gynocentric, but you know, when you look at it, you got the view on the TV, they man hating and stuff like that. I did a reaction on a whole segment where they talking about men are worth nothing, basically. Why do we even need men? And you got the talk, which is the black version of that. They made a whole black version of that, and they just shit on men as well. But then you also get another agent of chaos, Steve Harvey, a black man, to go on TV and do some of the same shit, pump the same narratives, tell women that they shit don't stink, but you guys got to step it up. So when you look at that, that is daytime TV. And they let that shit get off and nobody says nothing. There are no men's groups. There's no big pack of men that have so much buying power and so much influence that they come and shut that shit down. Actually, men are profiting off of that. There are men who are pushing that on the TV and profiting off of that. Now listen, I could do this shit all day. I could go really deep. But just to keep it shallow, the way that it works is when it comes to the feminine narratives about men not being shit, societally and commercially, especially commercially, that is acceptable. The only people who could really say bitches ain't shit and it be commercially successful is rappers. That's it. But when you say that shit off of a mic, you're going to get backlash. And to let you know that what I'm saying is true, that motherfucking Snoop Dogg, he made the song Bitches Ain't Shit back in like 93. That motherfucker got up at that Nipsey Hussle funeral and pandered his ass off. He said, ain't nothing better than a strong black woman, because he knows the buying power of black women and just women in general. But fuck the buying power. Let's talk about the socio-political power of just women in general. He mentioned in this video a list with a bunch of names on it, made by some feminist organization that is working hand in hand with YouTube to shut down the Manosphere, to censor the Manosphere, to deplatform the Manosphere. They are trying to label, this type of shit, as far as this type of content, as radicalized content and things of that nature. Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews is the only content creator off of that list that I seen do a video about it. And the language that they had in there was like, boy, this is really tough to defend against, because the words that they are using, they are just trying to vilify people in the Manosphere on a high level, to where it's almost equivalent to saying like they are child predators. Basically, it's like they're trying to put that level of stigma on the Manosphere to where it's like hard to shake off and stuff like that. And this is the real issue with it. It is government funded. This is like some government feminist shit that's going on when it comes to this. So the difference between FaZe Clan, AMP, and all these other platforms like Jason Whitlock, all of them, the difference between them and the Manosphere is the fucking government isn't going against them. On YouTube isn't going against them, the platform that we are fucking on. So I could keep going about that, but what you have to understand is that there is an elite level of censorship, and just not just the platform trying to go against you, not just feminists trying to go against you, but even the government trying to go against you. That is an extreme uphill battle for some fucking content. Now, the thing about Kevin Samuels is that he was like just wildly on point with everything. He was just, from his appearance, no diddy, to the appearance of the room. If you watch Kevin Samuels, you'll see how the room ambiance just stepped up. He stepped the lighting up. He stepped all that shit up, bro. But it didn't just stop there. The way that he carried himself, the message that he had, the fact that he was promoting marriage and not getting 50 bodies like Myron. He had a format to where Myron and them built off of that, and they made a live podcast to where they criticized women. He was doing it via webcam. And let me just cut through all the bullshit. He was very marketable. What really held him up is that he was always wearing a suit, and he was always conducting himself with class, and he was big on that. And he wasn't cursing at chicks. He was saying, what the French toast. So when you look at him, it's not debatable that he was he was leaps and bounds more marketable than anybody in the Manosphere, like leaps and bounds. Because you could put him on a Dr. Phil, on a CNN, you could put him anywhere, and he is going to be able to hold it down, not embarrass his space. He doesn't look like a fucking loser. And I'm sure he could defend himself in any of his stances very well, no matter where he goes. Somebody that is not necessarily a part of the man space, because he does a lot of stuff, Anton Daniels, he is by far the most marketable person right now, but he is not really a part of the Manosphere. But when we talking all this YouTube shit, he has the right idea. He has the right idea as far as the production, bringing people together, et cetera, all that shit. But the thing is, he's versatile. And when it comes to this Manosphere shit, none of these people are really versatile. Like Fresh and Fit, they are versatile because they'll get celebrity guests up there and stuff like that. But Myron just destroyed their whole platform with all of that white supremacy shit like a fucking idiot because he's really fucking stupid. You thought because he knew about some, like, Rollo Tomasi talking points and shit that he was a smart guy because he could articulate himself and he used to work for the feds. But no, he's exposed that he's a fucking idiot. So I know this is a long video, but I'm going to wrap it up. If you look at those 2 points, number one, nobody is really marketable in this space. But number two, there is so much working against this shit. How do you expect to really elevate and then invest all this money into studios and stuff like that when you'll be getting demonetized left and right if you get too big, if your voice get too big? What you got to be prepared for if you decide to do that, you got to have your money saved up. You got to be lawyered up. You got to be ready to fight for your rights. But truthfully, if we talking about this shit going mainstream, I don't think it's going to be because of this batch of people in the space. Somebody is going to have to come and innovate like Fresh and Fit did in some way, shape, or form. Some way like Kevin Samuels did in some way, shape, or form. To where it is entertaining and it makes sense, because that is what this shit is, and y'all don't want to admit it. Y'all want to act like this is a super information highway and this is just all great information and we all here for knowledge. No, this shit is fucking entertainment. That's what nobody wants to say. That is why Kevin got where he got. That is why Fresh and Fit got where he got. That is why the Whatever Podcast does what it does. Because it is entertainment. Whether you want to say it's entertainment first or whatever, wherever entertainment lands, entertainment does not land last. It is very high up on what it is. And that's something that nobody wants to admit. And while, yes, everybody on this, in this space is informative to some degree, and we give out information and we give game and et cetera, when you look at everybody else that we mentioned and them having those fucking, Jason Whitlock is entertaining. FaZe Clan is entertaining. AMP is entertaining. When you talk about getting them millions of dollars and having one of those, like the chick that he had on the screen, I guarantee you she's fucking entertaining. To a bunch of people, she's fucking entertaining. Whatever clique she with, they entertain a lot of people. So somebody in the future is going to innovate in some way, shape, or form again. It's going to be big. Whenever it happens, it's going to be some years from now. I don't think it's going to be this year. And when it happens, that's when, there's going to be another shot at this shit going mainstream. But with this batch of guys now, no. And if the platform is against you and the government is against you with feminists, I don't know how much longer this shit is going to go.